Why they go hot and cold. Hi guys, my name is Loveridge and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach. And today I'm talking about why sometimes when you're dating someone, they can suddenly, just stop talking to you, go completely cold, even though things seemed like they were progressing well and that it was looking like you two were going to start dating or it was heading for a relationship. So what happens and why does this sometimes happen, that when you are dating someone, they can suddenly just go completely off the radar and you don't really understand what happened? So today I'm going to go through a question from a viewer and let's see if we can help this person out. We were never in a relationship, but I thought we were heading to that. I know he recently broke up with his wife and that's when we started talking. It was never romantic, but I did have feelings for him. He usually initiated contact first, so it made me feel wanted. He defended me on social media after some troll attacked me. Then one day he blocked me. I clearly didn't give him a desperate idea because he was the one to reach out to me 8 times out of 10. We never argued, I never spammed him with messages, nothing. It was just random and suddenly. This has came up a few times and it's come up actually with a client as well. They were dating someone, then it seemed like things were going well and then suddenly they were no longer interested. So what it seems here is obviously perhaps his wife came back into the picture. And the thing is if we have more emotions invested in someone, so let's say an ex, if that ex comes back, then if we're still more emotionally invested in them than the new person we're dating, we're going to go back to the ex. Especially if the ex is displaying interest and they want to get back with them. This has happened to me actually as well. I remember when I first started dating other lesbians, I was talking to a girl online and they even told me that they just broke up with an ex recently. And we started talking and it seemed like we were about to make plans and then all of a sudden they were no longer replying to my messages. So even then I could kind of tell it was probably because this ex came back into the picture. And sometimes that's all that it takes. I even remember when I started dating my first girlfriend, I didn't meet up with her and I didn't start pursuing her strongly until after like 3 or 4, maybe even a month of talking to her online. And it was because I was still hung up on someone else and I wanted to know 100% for sure that this person who I was hung up on with, I needed to know she wasn't interested in me. Because I thought that I had a chance with this other girl. And therefore, when I was talking to my first girlfriend, I didn't want to meet up with her for about a month. Because I was still figuring out if whether or not this other girl liked me or not. Because I had more emotions invested in this girl. So it wasn't until after about a month I actually met up with my first girlfriend and started dating her because I was just emotionally invested in someone else and I needed to know 100% that they didn't want me. And it's probably the same with anyone else who might be watching this. You may have a big crush on someone right now. And let's say you started dating someone else. Let's say you went on a date next week with a new girl or a new guy. And then suddenly this person in the back who you've liked for so long says to you, actually, I would like to date you. Then of course you would drop everything and drop this new person to be with this person who you are more emotionally invested in. It doesn't even matter if they are right or wrong for you. If you are more emotionally invested in someone else and you had feelings for them for a long time, your new feelings haven't grown for this new person yet. So that's why some people can seem really hot and cold at the beginning, because when you start dating them, because they have their emotions are invested somewhere else. So one of my clients actually went through something similar not that long ago. They were dating someone. They were dating this girl. So basically everything was going well. They were going on dates successfully. I think they hooked up a little bit sometimes, and suddenly this girl just came out and said, look, I don't feel comfortable dating you because basically my ex is still in the picture and we've been talking and they've came back. And then they said that they no longer wanted to date them because obviously they were still more emotionally invested in the ex. So it seems with you, if they were married, You know, that's obviously a strong connection and a strong bond that this man had with his wife. And so basically what probably happened is they came back into the picture. Perhaps they wanted a second chance, or perhaps they just wanted to meet up, or, you know, maybe, you know, perhaps a romantic connection didn't even happen between them, but maybe he thought that was how it was heading. So obviously he didn't want to see you anymore because he thought maybe there's still a chance to get back with his wife. And if you've only been talking a little bit and you haven't really met up yet, and you haven't started dating or hooking up with each other, then obviously they have more emotional investment in the person that they've been married to, slept with for a long time, you know, had those emotions. So this is why obviously I think it's a good idea that people, if they've been in a long-term relationship, they need to have about 6 months, maybe even to a year, to actually heal those wounds and get over it. Which is why I don't agree with people hopping from one relationship to another, especially if these relationships are long term. By doing so, you could actually end up hurting a lot of people, which is what happened in this situation. He probably wasn't over his wife and probably should have had more time to heal and get over it before he started talking to new people. Because, you know, I say in my videos, you know, make sure that you carry on dating people, but those kinds of things only really apply to people that have probably been talking to someone online or haven't had that much of an emotional connection to someone. So for example, someone who was dating someone for a couple of weeks and then got rejected, then of course, you know, you carry on dating and seeing new people. But if you've been in a long-term committed relationship where your emotions are highly invested, you should not be hopping from one person to the other. You know, you shouldn't go straight into a new relationship because that could end up with, you know, hurting a lot of people. So this is probably what that man went through. So it's not your fault, it's just that he was emotionally invested in his wife. Basically, he just hadn't had that emotional connection to you yet. He probably didn't have much invested in you yet, because obviously love and connection grows over time. It happens over months and years of being with someone. So he just wasn't emotionally ready yet. He just wasn't as emotionally invested in you as he was his ex-wife. You need to be very patient with the people that you are dating and not become too emotionally invested too quickly, because it just comes off as strange to the person who you're dating. You know, so that's why you need to take things very slow, very gradually. So you meet up and date once a week, physically date, you know, go on a physical date with each other, nothing online. And this is why you need to meet people in your area. But you do it once a week, you meet up and date once a week, and then, you know, gradually over time, over the period of a couple of months, you start seeing each other twice a week, then 3 times a week. You start seeing more and more of each other, and that's how it grows. It's a slow love story. It's not something that's instant. And this is where a lot of men that I coach go wrong. They get emotionally invested too quickly, which is why the women tend to draw back from them. You know, they're already asking for a relationship on the first or second date, becoming, you know, giving them gifts, becoming too emotionally invested too soon. But when you are dating someone and it's someone that you're not in a committed relationship with yet, and the things haven't progressed where you're seeing each other more than once a week, then you need to have the attitude of seeing how things go. Because at this point, you just don't know who this person is. And because you don't know who this person is, you should be very suspicious of people that you go on dates with that you don't know that well yet. You don't know what it's like to live with them. You don't know what it's like to be in a relationship with them. And I think sometimes we let our hearts rule our head, and we project what we want onto the person that we're dating. So we're thinking about what it's like to be with them. We're thinking basically all of this imaginary stuff that hasn't happened yet, and we assume things about their personality, and we assume wrong things most of the time as well. You know, you don't know who this person is. You may think you know, but you won't until you start having a proper emotional connection with them, and that's something that happens slowly over time. Anyway, I hope this video has helped you. If you would like help with me personally and you need help with a specific situation, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com/shop, or alternatively, just drop me an email using the email address provided in this video's description box. If you would like me to answer a question in another video, please just leave it in the comments. and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye, guys.